If you would like to add a completely new part to the catalog, we can do this by creating a component and then using the Plant 3D Shape browser to find suitable geometry to use as the basis of our part. Let's create a new weld neck flange and add it to our catalog. So to start with, we're going to navigate to our exercise file. We're going to open Catalog, Desktop, Exercise Files, Adding New Part, and we're going to go to our ASME Pipes and Fittings catalog. We're going to go up to our catalog editor and let's create that component. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new component, and we're going to set up some basic information here. Our family information is already predefined inside the catalog, so this is providing us with all the fields, the templates that allow us to enter the schedule, the class, the pressure. All that's predefined, so we just have to tell it which category. So in this case, we're going to pick flanges. The piping component is fine, and for the end type, I'm going to choose FL just to designate that this is a flange component, and I'm going to give it a short description. I'm going to call it just a LinkedIn flange. And from here, we're going to say a 2-inch, and we're going to make just one size right now. So now we have the option to choose a graphic. If you're proficient with AutoCAD 3D and you've modeled this information and you actually have the 3D solids, we can actually import those graphics and use those. But that's a little bit advanced for this class, so we're just going to stick with the Plant 3D parametric graphics for now. If you're looking for other shapes that you can't always find here, we can look for the advanced shape options, and you can click that open. And as you come down here, you can see there's other information that we have in the catalogs. And you can just scroll through and see some of this information, see some of the shapes that are available. And from there, especially the valves, there's a lot of valves, which is kind of nice. Just choose the components that are closest to what you think you want, and then we can set up the parametric dimensions. So I'm going to go back to flange, and I'm going to select just the standard weld neck flange. So this, and I'm going to say create. So if you look on top, you'll see we have the flange ready to go. And here down on the catalog browser, you'll see this is our line that we're going to fill in. So just the information that we populated, enough that we can see it in the catalog right down here. So now we actually have to go and fill in some of the information. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a long description. So I'm going to call this flange weld neck, 150 pounds. I'm going to call it a raised face, and I'll give it a material. It's me B16.5, and then we'll call it LinkedIn, just so we know what it is. And I'm just going to cut the compatible standard in here. So we've got the ASME B16.5. And I'm just going to throw in a manufacturer. And for material, I'm just going to say CS for carbon steel. Now we have to fill in some connection properties. So I'm going to come down and look at this and say our end type is going to be flanged. I want my facing on this to be raised face. I want my pressure class, it's going to be 150 pounds. And we're going to call this a schedule 40. So that gives us our port information, and we have our port information, our facing, and some basic descriptive information. Now we're going to get more specific to the sizes. So we're going to come up to our size dialog box here. So you can see under the 2 inches, we're going to just put some dimensional information in here. So we know our nominal diameter is 2. And what we have to do is put in our matching pipe outside diameter in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as 2.375, which is the actual outside diameter of the pipe. And for the flange thickness for this particular one, it's 3/4 of an inch. So now we have to look at long description using the size so that we know that if we do need to call this out as 2 inch, it will be in the long description. So I'm going to type in the same description as we had before. I'm going to call it, I think I call it 150 pound raised face, 16.5 LinkedIn. But I'm actually going to put the size in here. So I'm going to call this 2 inch. Now we have the size description too. So we don't have the item code, and the weight for this is 6 pounds. So now that we have all that information in here, we can save that. And you can see the dimensions here are what's shown in the standard flange. And if we're ready to save that, we can just say save to catalog. Oh, matching ports. So what we have here is we need to have this in both. All ports have the same property. Make sure that we say yes for that one. And the reason we do that is there is actually port 1 and port 2. If we check this off, we only have to fill the information out once, and we'll save to catalog. So now you'll see we have a fully spec'd out item right down here. So by making use of the existing parts browser, you can create the new parts quickly and without having to wait for Project Administrator to create the parts in the geometry. With the shape browser, you can choose something that's close to the shape and add the correct information in face-to-face dimensions, and the part will take up the correct amount of size in the model and will also generate in an ISO with the correct spec information.